Hello everyone, welcome back to HotCars. My name's Max Landy and with me today is the 2021 BMW X5 xDrive45e. And what that means is that we're in the plug-in hybrid version of the X5. We have a 3-litre turbocharged straight six, an electric motor in between that engine and an 8-speed automatic gearbox, pure electric drive from a 24 kilowatt hour lithium-ion battery pack. Now, there is a lot of complex elements with this BMW. Much like any other plug-in hybrid system, we're talking about a vehicle that essentially has two engines with two different versions of capabilities. So we're going to first of all talk about what this system is like, how you use and interact with all of these systems, and then we'll get into the generalities of the X5 and what it's like as a mid-size SUV. So we'll start off with the different driving modes, because when you're in a typical BMW, you'll have Eco Pro, Comfort, Sport, and maybe Sport Plus. With this vehicle, we have electric, hybrid, sport, and a battery hold mode. So we'll start off with electric, because that's the easy one. With a 50-kilometer pure electric drive and a top speed of 140 kph in pure electric mode, you could use up 0 drops of gasoline in your day-to-day commute if you're gentle with the throttle. Well, not even gentle, because to engage the gasoline engine in this mode, you'd have to really force your foot into the pedal and press down on the kick down button. In this mode, I think it's fair to say that the acceleration is calm. You can pick up speed pretty steadily, but nowhere out of what you'd expect from the normal straight six engine in the normal X540i version. With the combined system output of the engine and the electric motor, we have 389 horsepower and 442 pound-feet of torque. Now, this is a step up over the 40i, but you don't really feel like there is more power. What you do notice is more torque off of the line, and that's exactly what electric motors and anything electrified is good at. And in the case of charging, if you're using a level 2 charger, you're going to be able to get a full battery in less than 5.5 hours. It'll be about 12 hours if you use a standard level 1. So electric drive, not much to report. Feels like an EV. It really could be an EV. It doesn't feel like it's lacking in any other way than not having a large enough range, but you have regenerative brakes, obviously being a hybrid, so you are able to recuperate a little bit of energy. Because you have this regenerative braking system, you'll note that the brake pedal is not what you should really expect out of a BMW. It feels much longer and almost multi-dimensional. There's many instances where the brake pedal just doesn't feel like it's giving out enough effort as what you're putting into it. And that was the case with quite a lot of other hybrid electric vehicles. I've been in more than enough now that I know that that system has improved. But in the case of this X5, it isn't amongst the best in the best across the industry. Now, going into the other driving modes, hybrid is what you would expect. It's going to use the capability of both powertrains to use up the most electricity as you can, but not leave you hanging if you desire more power. And then in sport mode, it's going to prioritize the 3-litre engine, and you can actually have the extra boost electric motor system, where for 10 seconds at a time, you'll get an additional 40 horsepower. Now, there's one other mode that you can engage, and that's called the battery hold mode. So let's say that you're going down a highway and you know you're going to be there for a long time, so you don't want to use up the electrical power to when you eventually get off of the highway and go throughout town. You can lock the battery usage so that it isn't drained by the time you get off of the road. But when you are driving along, the 3-litre engine and the regenerative brakes are essentially acting as a generator, so that charge will slowly creep up over an hour's journey. So I got in this car, range was about 50%, and I went on an hour's long drive, and then by the time I got off of the highway, the battery was at full capacity. And that's what I love about driving hybrids. I like that when I'm in this vehicle, regular commuting can turn into a bit of a game, whether you want to really maximize your efficiency or you're trying to really eke out that last little bit of pure electric drive. If you're attentive and you want to have that more engaging driving experience, then that's something that this plug-in hybrid can offer you. This plug-in hybrid system does not come cheap, and it also adds another 755 pounds to the weight of this X5 over the comparable 3-litre 40i engine. With this, you do also have worse fuel economy, but it's important to note that this is the system suffering from the additional weight. If you only ever used the hybrid mode in town or the electric mode in town, and you really wanted to eke out that efficiency so you saved money at the fuel pump, this vehicle over time will save you a little bit of coin. So how successful of a system is it? Personally, I think it is very successful. It's using up all of the elements that you would hope a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle would do, and for the drive about that I've been doing now, which has been about 30 minutes, I haven't ever come close to needing to use the engine. With the regenerative braking system, I haven't found a way to make them more or less aggressive during my drive, and you can't get strict one-pedal driving. It won't come to a complete stop, but it will come pretty close. Excluding the whole hybrid driving experience, the X5 drive is fantastic. The suspension is geared more towards driving involvement, which on a highway you might notice more than its competitors is moving about a little bit, but it isn't harsh, it isn't firm, and the steering has a good amount of weighting to it, but it's an adaptive system, so as soon as you want to take a right-hand turn to get into this parking lot, which I will do right now, the steering speeds up, so the overall drive feels quite effortless. There's lots of glass and good visibility. The 3-litre straight six in of itself is a detuned version of the 40i engine, and you can notice that when you are relying on its power, but it also sounds a little muffled. There definitely isn't pumped in intake noise, and you kind of have to go searching for the exhaust noise, which the goal of this is to make a quieter, more refined driving experience, so can't really blame BMW for doing that. In fact, I think that's something that a lot of people would like in their electrified vehicle. The other elements of driving this X5 worth mentioning is that all of the technology is immersive, easy to use. We've got wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Interacting with all of the system menus is absolutely gorgeous, easy to understand. There are a couple criticisms though. I don't like that with the climate control system, it can be a little difficult to find the AC button. You have to hit the physical button and then go into the system menu to turn it off. That's a little annoying. And at first it can feel a little overwhelming with all of the settings, all of the different menus that BMW can provide you with. But if you're experienced with these vehicles such as myself, or you live with it for any period of time, it will become easier and easier to interact with. But when it comes to the practicality of the plug-in hybrid version of the X5, it does suffer comparing to its pure internal combustion engine vehicle. So you've got less cargo capacity in the trunk. You can notice that there's a little bit of a raised floor and a lip to it, and you can't get the rear seats to fold totally flat. There is quite a ramp up to it. But outside of the monetary cost, that's really the biggest downside, I think, to this plug-in hybrid system. I mean, the battery had to go somewhere, and they did double the capacity of this battery compared to the previous generation plug-in hybrid to get that more effective and more usable electric range. So you give and you take, and in the situation of this X5, it is a little bit disappointing they couldn't find a little more room to make that storage space a little more capable. The X5 still offers the split hatch, which is a great feature. There's a button that you can use to lower down the rear end with the air suspension system to make loading things in and out a little bit easier for yourself. If you don't care for the electrical capability and you can't afford the additional cost, then I don't think you're going to see anything worthwhile in this plug-in hybrid. You might actually see it as a bit of a detriment. But for me personally, I love this whole movement towards electrification of normal vehicles. I want to be able to own a car that I could drive to and from the grocery store in pure electric drive. And if that's going to be your day-to-day commute 5 days a week, then you really are going to save a good amount of money at the gas pump. And you don't even have to reserve the efficiency of this vehicle of just plugging it in overnight, because if you drive with a little more intention towards electrification, then you can just maximize your range by braking a little earlier, coasting a little earlier, and slowly gaining speed. So if any of the merits of plug-in hybridization are appealing to you, then I highly recommend you go and test drive this X5. It's a vehicle in of itself that BMW has masterfully engineered for its 4th generation, and in my opinion, the plug-in hybrid makes it even better. So thank you very much for taking the time to watching this video. Thank you very much to the Dilawri Group and Calgary BMW that sent this vehicle off to me so I could review it. Thanks to you for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you liked what you just saw, and we hope to see you again on the channel soon.